Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Not For Broadcast. We are back from Riyadh, back from the Esports World Cup. Avery, how was your flight back? Did you get delayed? Did you have to stay in a hotel somewhere for 24 hours? What happened?
No, because I did not fly through the worst airport in the world, which is Denver International, and therefore I was only minorly delayed.
Were you still delayed?
Yeah, I got delayed in Newark, but that's pretty common.
Okay. Well, condolences. You also left like 24 hours after me, so
I don't mind that. It was chilling. I get an extra day there. It's a nice hotel. Chill with some of the lads who were left, and don't have to wake up at 4 a.m.
yeah. Well, you had to stay up and take a flight at midnight for
Overnight. Bro, that was the easiest flight of my life. I'm not gonna lie. Overnight flight, 14 hours. Slept for 12. Easy.
Did you take business?
Easy. I got a miles upgrade. This is the
Yeah,
first time I've
okay.
gotten it in like literal. I'd never fly that. It's probably the first time I've flown in 7 years, and it was simply because I've accrued so many miles that I could spend my miles for it. And I was like, I mean, that has to be the opportunity to use the miles, right?
For
A
sure.
14-hour overnight. That is pure value. Like, I didn't even use any of the shit. I just lay down. That is 100% worth it.
What'd you do for that extra day in Riyadh? Because it was you, Shiver, who else?
Brian. But I never saw Brian. I hung out with Shiver a little. That was it.
So you guys didn't do anything.
Uh,
I felt like when I left, there
they
were
went
plans.
to
You
they
were
went
gonna
to the
do
mall
stuff.
and they did some stuff.
Okay.
I just chilled. I had to leave earlier in the day. I wasn't there like the whole day. I think I left the hotel like 3 or something.
Okay. Wow. All right.
What
The
are you
Esports
just giving
World.
me shit, man? Like what did you fucking do? Nothing.
I flew immediately.
Exactly. You're
We
useless.
wrapped up the EWC.
Classic.
I went to bed.
Classic.
And woke up like 3 hours later and got on my flight.
Yeah.
Esports World Cup
shame.
happened, Avery. It was a tournament. It was one of the tournaments of all time.
True.
We can talk about the results first, which was Spirit won the whole thing. They spanked the ever-living shit out of Falcons.
Hate to see it.
Falcons made it to the grand finals because Tundra underperformed and Liquid showed up off of their 6-day break, not ready to play some Dota.
I don't know. That's one interpretation, but we'll go with it. Sure.
Okay. Well,
I would
the
say
interpretation is
how I expected to for most of the year. I think we're catching up with the norms.
3 teams of the 4 that got first in their group bombed out in the very first round. Do you think that's coincidence?
You know what I said when we were discussing this format? I said you rather play more games. I said it then, and I'll say it every fucking time. Every time they do one of these Dota events where there's some like skip phase because you get first, it fucks you. It always fucks you. I've seen it 1,000 times. I would almost rather throw that series so I could play more games. Like it has never worked out for the teams in the history of Dota. I cannot remember a single event unless you are the absolute dominant like top dog and you just like clean run the entire tournament.
Sure. Which was Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, but Spirit did get first, right? Were they the other team that got? Yeah, so like, okay, you have the best team in the world.
They dropped a single game in the entire tournament. That
so
was
it's a god
their very
right?
first game against Extreme. They lost that.
Well, I mean, Jinq is the boss. I mean, what can you do? I mean, the best player out of China, you're going to lose. You're going to drop a game to him.
True. Spirit also, they did look mortal on their first series as well. That was the only time that they looked mortal, was their matchup against Game of Gladiators. They actually probably should have lost that game 1. No? You don't think so?
I don't think that series was as close as people keep saying it is. Like, they also got 2-0. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah.
You know,
the second game was one-sided, but Game of Gladiators was definitely winning that first game.
The thing is, I think Spirit are weakest at the start of events, and they're strongest at the end.
Sure.
So if you're going to beat them, you're going to... It's like the old EG. They were the same way. Like I'm talking the Peter versions. The ones that I was on. Like, when we start those events, we're dog shit. we almost always dropped like the first series or had some dog shit first series, and then there's like a team talk and you scrim, and then you build up and then you don't lose. So like I don't put, even if Gaiman beats him, I don't put too much stock in that series. I mean, great for Gaiman, but like I don't think it does anything for you over the course of the event, and I think they would agree with that. If anything, I think Spirit took more, they gained more from that series than Gaiman did.
Okay,
Which they
fair
said
enough.
so in their interviews and such. So
Well, either way, it didn't help out Vision too much. They got second in their group. They did manage to beat Aurora, but then they ran into Spirit. And Spirit themselves said that Vision did not look great. Vision was one of the favorites for this tournament alongside Tundra. Why didn't either one of these teams show up? Do you feel like their form, let's start with, do you think their form was bad at this tournament?
I think it's just hard to win so many events in the year.
Okay.
Like you get a target on your back, you get patched out, people figure you out. You don't have as many surprises up your sleeve. I mean, fucking 9 classes hero pool got decimated, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
margins are pretty thin. If you lose 5%, it's going to be a lot harder to win. I think they're
Insania
getting,
said the exact same thing. A lot of Vision is 9 classes, hero pool, and all the annoying shit that he used to do, he can't
yeah,
do on the heroes that he's playing now, which is Rubik, Dark
yeah. Who
Willow,
cares,
Bat
man? Who,
Rider, Nature's Prophet is maybe the only cheesy-ish one, but
no, it's not. It's not close. It's not close to the like the map destruction and mental destruction this guy was doing to certain teams. And you remove that element, it's like a 5% drop off. That's enough to swing a lot of these series. Like they're not some. I think we've talked about it before. That team is not a team that's built around having the best players of all time on all the roles. The only player I think you can argue with that is Satanic. Maybe could be there one day. Like he has the potential. You know, he's like some young fucking. I don't know, man. Whatever you want to make an analogy of, but. Uh, he's not he's too young to be there yet. Like he just hasn't played long enough. I think no one is in his second prime, but I don't think he's like he's not so far above every other mid that he just gives he's not the Sumail of today, right? And I just
yeah.
don't think anybody can be. So it's like you need these other cheesy advantages. That's what kind of made that team. Cheesy advantages plus really good team play plus really solid drafting. And I think they still have a lot of that and they're still obviously a very good team, but they're not a team that is gonna outplay Spirit in the clutch. I just think that's the reality. Not almost, I don't think any team will, but I think particularly for them, it's difficult. They need to have some of those small advantages, and then they can outplay them, which is 100% doable. Because Spirit don't really have a lot of cheesy advantages, to be honest. They kind of just play you straight up. It's like their biggest weakness as a team, honestly. But it's not that big of a weakness because, well, I mean, cheesy advantages usually get patched out pretty quick. So you don't have to rely on them for like a full season. But if you peak at the right time with them, yeah, you can win a couple tournaments. I just think the patches are catching the meta adjustments, the patches, people's information's catching up to them. I don't think they're that favored for TI, honestly. I think they're probably going to end up in like the third, fourth, second realm of TI, but I would skew it towards that rather than the 1, 2, 3. I think it's unlikely they win unless Western Europe bombs out again, but I think that's also unlikely.
Okay. What about Tundra? They're not as cheesy.
This team is,
Vision.
bro. I'm just gonna say it, man. No one wants to say it. I mean, we're on a
Nobody.
Tundra, we're on a Tundra podcast. I don't give a fuck. No one wants to say this. I'll fucking say it. This team is not on the up, my brother. Like I don't know what there is something about their games when you're watching. Like these guys just destroy people, but they cannot raise the ceiling. There's something about it. I just don't see their ceiling's capped. Their floor is insanely high, but the ceiling's capped, and I don't think the ceiling's high enough to beat Spirit at their best, Liquid at their best, maybe Pari if they're in a really good meta at their best. I just think it's really unlikely they win TI because of that. I
So it
think,
sounds like you have the exact same opinion, which is they're a team that can get second, but they will not win TI
yeah, I think that's
because
most
somebody
likely.
is going to be at their best.
Probably could be them though. I mean, it's 33. This guy is like fucking TI goat, so who the fuck knows? But
Yeah.
if the meta shifts towards his cheesiness, then they get a massive edge. Then they'll just win it. Like I don't think it'll be close actually. But that's a big if.
So what player, what hero pool are we talking about that they're dependent on? If it's Pari Vision, if it's 9 class, and let's say DM, right? Because DM also wasn't playing some of the popular offlaners at EWC. Is it Crystallis?
I mean, I've said it since day one. Crystallis and 33, the fucking hero pool discontent, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of when you pick these guys kills their ceiling, I think. And there's like no way around it. Unless there's a massive meta shift towards last pick mid laner carries.
Okay. What are we talking about pick wise? Because 33,
you can't last pick either of these players. You can't last pick a Crystallis hero, and you can't last pick a 33 hero. It does like nothing for you. The draft value is irrelevant. Of course you can pick it, but like I go to that game where they had to last pick a 33 hero and there was like nothing left, so they picked the Visage. And it's like, whoa, 33 Visage, so spooky. And then it's like 5 minutes in this game, you're like, oh wait, this hero is dog shit. Like it doesn't matter if he's the best Visage in the world. The thing's been fucking patched out because he abused people with it so hard that it got nerfed. So like he just does nothing in this game. And the hero is just clearly it's just underpowered, and you can just see it in the game. Like he's playing it fine. He's getting his items, but you go in the fight, the hero just doesn't do anything.
So your rant about how 33 was overpowered because you could first pick his hero and he would just do the stacks.
Yes, that's his biggest strength as a weakness. Player. No, I mean every player has weakness, but like it's not a weakness because that strength in a team is invaluable. Like it's really hard to find players like that. It's way harder to find a guy who can do that and make it a strength than the guy who can like, well, I can last pick my hero and carry the game. I mean, that's nice, but let's be honest, there's a lot of those players in the world. There's very few
but
where
it just so happens that neither Crystallis nor 33 is that.
Yeah,
they're both the first pick player.
Yeah, it just sucks. I think Dyrachyo was more like. I think a lot of people would argue Dyrachyo is similar in that regard because aggressive carries tend to early pick their hero because the matchups don't matter as much because you're more about tempo than the matchup. And I think there's truth in that. But I think
even more controversial, Nightfall was more fitting to that as well before Dyrachyo.
Yeah, but that was that was an inner team issue. I'm not going to go into that, but that was like a chemistry is chemistry. I think you want someone kind of in the middle. It could also be like a meta issue. Like I don't think the meta is particularly great, but I just think Crystallis's value is like you first pick his hero and then he goes and he always has a very solid game, but he's not going to 1v5 the game. I think Dyrachyo, like that guy actually would 1v5 some games, dude.
Yes.
Like
he would 1v5'd very specifically. Yes. He 1v5'd with that PA right before he retired.
Yeah, I mean the PA, his Chaos Knight, his Lifestealer, his Alchemist, like he can just carry a game, even if no matter where the hero's picked. Like you go through a draft, you get a last pick Dyrachyo hero, you last pick a Lifestealer, you last pick an Alchemist. Like he will carry the game in that position. With Crystallis, I feel it still has to come from some of the other two roles. It's just a difference in play style, and I think that's where it hurts them. You combine all this stuff, and I think that just lowers the ceiling just a little bit. That it's kind of hard to get over that edge unless you have some other cheesy meta stuff going for you, which they can absolutely figure out, and then they can just become the best team in the world. But you got to figure that out, and a lot of it might be on like what this mid pool ends up being at TI2. I don't know. That the mid pool is really weird right now, man. It's like I don't think a lot of mid players like it. But it's kind of varied. I don't know, dude. I don't want to talk about mid lane. No one wants to talk about mid lane. This lane's been destroyed. Let's be honest. Like, no one wants to talk about it.
It's lacking a bit of identity.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like you go in the fridge and you go in your friend's fridge. You're trying to get a drink and there's just like 10 gallons of milk, and you're like, "What the fuck is this, man? What am I gonna do with 10? I guess I'm having milk. You know, it's like every game is just some milk." And milk's good. You got to drink some milk, good protein, but it's not fancy. It's not exciting.
Yeah. If there's anything else in there, it's store brand, store brand fruit punch or something.
You're like, oh, I got some beer down there. You get excited. You go down there. It's like fucking Heineken or something. You're like, oh, fuck this guy. Like that's mid right now. It's just not like, I don't even give a fuck in these drafts that we watch. It's like, oh, here comes another Ember, here comes another Storm, here comes another Puck, here comes another fucking Queen. It's like all the same shit, honestly. Like, who cares? I don't even. Here's a Shadow Fiend. Like, okay, yeah, there's certain heroes you can flex around and get some draft advantage, but honestly, I feel like 90% of the mids you throw in mid, they just run around, they deal damage, they all do the same thing. Like, I don't. These drafts are not going to change because you have a last pick Ember versus last pick Storm versus last pick Queen. Like, come on. It's like 90% the same right now how it's functioning, because you can't demolish the lane because of the bullshit mechanics, and you can't cheese the lane anymore because that shit's just, people figured out how to play against it, and you just cut waves or jungle or whatever, and like, so no one wants to like throw the Huskar there or the Viper. Like, how many times have we seen teams try this and it backfires more than it works? Like, you have to have a really good player with it. So it's just like, most of the time it's like, whatever, these guys just go there, they smash a little bit, and then they leave, and then they farm, and they're just another core in the game. And it's like, whatever. Outside of the cool picks like Invoker, Tinker, Sniper, Storm in some games, like the late game Puck, like those are the ones I think, like, okay, you get to 50 minutes, 60 minutes, now we get to see what this mid player can do relative to other mid players. That's the cool part to me. But I don't know what percentage of games we're seeing that. Probably less than like 20, 25% or less.
So make mid lane great again so Nigma Galaxy can win some tournaments. Is that what we'll come down to?
I mean, I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, I mean, we got to do something to spice this lane up. It's not good right now. I don't think it's fun to watch. And I think if you look at like a lot of pub games too, people just don't want to play mid. That's not a good sign, you know. That's
yeah, it's supposed to be the one role where you don't have to deal with people.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the opposite. Everybody wants to be the mid, but nowadays no one wants to fucking go mid. It's just a pain in the ass. So it's like, I think that should change. Something should change about that.
Avery, you said that it's hard to win tournaments all year long. It's hard to be good in the regular season, then also show up at EWC and TI.
True.
That's, I think, a pretty profound bit of wisdom. Of course, it has been echoed throughout the years in Dota's history. I believe one of us talked about that exact thing 6 months ago, in fact. Do you remember anything like that?
No.
You don't remember a talk about how a team dominated a regular season, but when it came to the final hurdle, they weren't able to do so well. So then the next year, when they're not performing so well in the regular season, they would show up at one of the end of the year tournaments, end of the season tournaments, and they would have that higher placement.
Talk about Enigma Galaxy?
I'm talking about me, motherfucker, being right about Falcons, second place, the team tier list. Avery comes in, he's got his big pop-off moment. Enigma Galaxy qualify for TI. He's like, oh, see what happened? I placed them 10th. Meanwhile, I placed Falcons second against Spirit.
Yeah.
But and TI what the happened. Fuck was our finals?
But TI hasn't happened yet.
So. Okay, motherfucker. TI hasn't happened yet for Enigma Galaxy either.
I mean, who did I place in the top? Didn't I put them in my top 4?
Spirit and Bet Boom.
And Bet Boom are on the up and up, brother. Let me tell you something. They could have gone all the way at that event. They won that lane. They were looking like the best team in the world like this last month at a certain point. You got to give me that at least. You got to give me that. They're on the up. Give me that, brother. They're on the up.
They lost to Tundra. What do you mean?
They're on big up right now. When it comes to TI, they could go deep. That prediction is going to hold out. You mark my words. Mark my words. Spirit, Bethboom, TI. I'm telling you, Eastern Europe dominance. Right. The Russian carries. It's the era of the Russian carry.
I'm just saying, you had your moment to gloat before we actually got to TI, and this is my moment. And I would say it was more accurate.
You take it. You can have it. Okay? I'm going for the big prize. That's what I was always going for. You can have EWC. I'll take TI. We'll see who's right in the end.
Okay. All right, fine. The event as a whole, how'd you feel about it?
That was just a normal event. I don't know.
You didn't feel like it was worse than previous years?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the actual event was worse. I think the format was worse.
Okay.
Which made the event worse.
Yeah. I think that had a pretty big trickle because I feel like the teams didn't care as much about EWC as they did TI.
I don't know how much, but I
The
don't know how
prize
much
pool
of that
gap
is.
is also, well, like, we don't know what TI's prize pool is yet, but the prize pool gap has been closing between EWC and TI. TI has a legacy, so if there's,
Yeah, that
if
hurts it.
there's not a money difference between the two, then people are just going to care a lot less about EWC than they do TI.
But
And
I
I
guess
felt like teams went into that tournament not caring as much.
I don't really factor that as like the tournament. It's worse. Like the entertainment factor is worse, I guess, because
Yeah,
it's not as hype. There's not as, but like I don't think the tournament was worse. I think it was the same EWC we've gone to.
I think
I
the fans were worse.
well, yeah, whatever. I mean, I do think some of it is like because kind of what's the end goal? Like, what's the end game here with Dota in the current esports ecosystem? Like, it's kind of an unfair argument in some ways. Like, let's say I go run a Dota tournament and I give it $100 million prize pool. You think it's gonna be hype? Like, fucking yeah, it's gonna be hype. Every
Yeah.
motherfucker and their kid's gonna watch that. There's gonna be people watching that shit that have never watched a fucking esport in their life. A fucking 90-year-old granny, like, what's going on? There's fucking $100 million on the stage. Of course, but this is not going to happen. It's not realistic, and like stuff has been scaled down. Almost no esport is profitable in the entire ecosystem other than mobile. Almost no esport is profitable for the TOs specifically outside of gambling sponsors, which EWC can't do. So I don't know. You have to like have realistic expectations. Like I feel like part of the Dota community's expectation is like that they're supposed to be this big grandeur and everything, but the truth is esports fucking failed. Like this thing failed. This experiment, you can argue. There's a lot of reasons why. I'm not going to sit here and argue whose fault it is or whatever. But the reality is, like, the thing grew, it popped. We're in the decline or whatever, and like the experiment kind of failed, and it's propped up right now by gambling, and that is a revenue stream for now. Might not always be. Maybe something else will come back. I can't predict the future, but you have to like temper your expectations a little bit, And I think people are still stuck in this fear of like, why can't we have the TI from 6 years ago? Why can't we have some of the Dota things from six? It's like, brother, these companies that ran that shit are fucking bankrupt. They're gone. There was no money. It was all skabaz and air and like fucking smoke. The fact this shit still exists at all.
ESL is apparently doing another round of layoffs.
Yeah, shit's not great, man. And the thing is, people always point to these companies that look good on the surface. They're not doing good. Like, there's nobody in esports that's doing that well outside of the gambling companies and mobile. That's all I know. And in terms of a broad generalization, obviously you have some niche whatevers, but on a mass scale, like people always point to these games of like, oh, what about League of Legends? It's like, brother, these guys aren't doing any better. They're just burning more money to give the appearance that they're doing better. That's not sustainable. So I don't know, man. Like, I just don't want to take anything for granted. I just want to enjoy the events we get to work and the longevity that Dota has, and the fact that we get to go keep working events and having lands with people and all this. And like, that's my perspective. So I'm just not picking anymore. It's like I like genuinely. I'll go to any land, and if it's like they're good accommodations, the tournament runs well, teams show up, there's some hype games. Like, brother, none of this shit should even exist right now. So I'm just happy to be there. And I think more people in Dota community need to kind of shift that perspective. Now, there's always going to be this backlash of like, well, if we just accept what is and we'll never improve it again. But like, I just haven't seen good arguments for how you're going to improve the overall esport ecosystem in the world right now. Like, it's just not a. There's some big macro trends against it, people going the influencer route, the economics of an influencer versus a big game, the economics of like the pay to win versus these loot box models and everything for Dota specifically. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's out of our control, so just enjoy what we got. And I'm not going to sit here and complain about 3 million these guys make too much money anyway. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Like, $3 million isn't hype, brother. Like, these guys are going to walk away.
Listen, I did not bring up the prize pool specifically as like it needs.
No, but
I
know. But my point is, like, there is some not jadedness, but some I don't, there's some spoiledness in the Dota scene. because of what we had that wasn't supposed to be there in a way. And like now it just kind of skews everything. And then it's like, oh, $3 million tournament is fucking boring. It's like, well, what do you want them to do, man? You know, it's like people can just burn money to get hype, but that's kind of not good anyway, because then you're just, it's not sustainable. Like
it was never good for TI.
Exactly.
And I said that over and over and over again, and people still want to go back to that. But TI is what leads us in some ways to where we're at now.
So yeah, you're going to lose some viewership, and people aren't going to be as hype about it. But I think the true fans will still watch. Like I still enjoy. I think there were good games at EWC.
There were.
Say format
didn't have a good finals, but we had some good games.
I mean, honestly, for a 3-0 final, I think that was one of the better 3-0 finals.
Because it was fast. I agree with you.
Because it was spirit. And honestly, I think that game 3, when I look back on it, I think that game 3 was one of the most beautiful like stomps of all time.
Yeah. I would agree.
Like that was not just like a stomp where like the other team got shit on because they were just way worse. That was a stomp where one team shit on them because they were just playing like perfect Dota, you know? They were doing all the right things, like this SF gank in the river to the mid lane and stuff. It's like it was like shit like OG used to do. It's like that really is beautiful Dota. And I think even though that's a stompy game, that is one of the coolest games I've seen in a long time. And I think it kind of goes underappreciated because nowadays it's like, I just want these like 60-minute nail biters. But honestly, you go watch that game. Like there's so much cool stuff that Spirit did in that game that is spot on. And to do it in a grand final is not easy, because usually that's where you make a lot of mistakes. So it really does show the finesse and strength of that team in the clutch.
Well, Glazing Spirit doesn't create as much controversy and comments, so I'm going to steer towards the negative route. You were talking about how esports is failing, and specifically, there seems to be one team that is failing right now, Avery.
Evil Geniuses.
That already happened like 5 years ago. I don't know what you're talking about, brother, but did you get a chance to take a look at those OG financials that they released?
Is that public?
They released financials for 2024.
How'd that not end up on Reddit?
I do not know, but you can check it out. It's I
mean, I did look
interesting.
At them, but are they?
They're
not a public
so you
company.
Worked for a summer at an investment firm, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you make?
I'm trying to clarify
the breakdown of those financials.
Was this a financial leak, or was this a public record?
I don't care.
Well, I kind of care because I'm not out here trying to get sued. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, maybe I saw them. Maybe I didn't.
Maybe I saw them. Maybe I didn't. I literally typed in OG Esports 2024 and found it. It was the second link on.
I mean, yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, we're not liable anyway. People who leaked it are liable if it is a leak.
Yeah.
That is a lot of staff cost. That's what I will say on that. If I were running that company, I would not be very happy with that setup, and I would take drastic action. And honestly, what most companies do in that situation is
don't pay people?
No, I'm not.
Because that's apparently what the problem is right now, is they're not paying some of their players their tournament winnings.
I mean, you have two options. You get more runway, or you shutter the doors. That's it, right? And you're only going to get more runway if you have some sort of game plan as to how to boost up the revenue to compensate for the influx of capital. And let me tell you something, brother, in esports right now, that's probably not fucking happening unless they go bamboozle on some fucking mobile shit or gotcha shit or something. Like, I mean, that could sell, get into some fucking anime horse racing.
Now maybe that's why Seb was doing his thing in Mobile Legends Bang Bang,
I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Apparently they succeeded at that tournament, so who knows? Maybe
I mean, I will say
turning the ship.
I have always thought that people underestimate how much a Dota team costs for how much you get back. Like, the money in Dota goes to the players. And then there's some money, a much smaller percentage, that goes to talent. And then there's a lot of money that goes to Valve. Not anymore, but, when they wanted to. Obviously, I guess a lot of money still goes to them.
Yeah, a lot of money probably still goes.
But they're like, they fucking own the game, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's like these dudes picking at the bones. Those are your TOs.
Yep.
They break even or lose, unless you're a gambling guy. But then, honestly, the gambling guys lose on Dota, but they make it up on the gambling. So whatever. I don't even fucking want to talk about them. The TOs break even, and the Dota orgs are the last, man. The Dota orgs are like, they're not even the vultures on the bones. Like, the Dota org is the dog in the background over here that's like drooling, staring at the fucking bone. Like,
He's
oh,
chained
shit.
up. He's
I
just
hope I
like,
get.
I gotta give me one of them bones.
It's like, I don't have the energy to catch one of them birds, but I would right now. Like, that dog's going to eat anything he gets given, you know? So I would never want to own a Dota team.
Well, they're paying these players a lot of money, so I don't know what to say.
It's rough. It's not even the player salary. It's like the player salary eats you, but it's all the other shit. Because Dota is like, you need to boot camp. You need to fly people to boot camp. You need to feed them. You need to house them. You need to. Then you have to pay people to do social media.
We were talking
stuff.
about like,
it's like
$10,000, $20,000, $30,000 salaries a month.
No, you would be surprised how much this other shit eats into it. Like, salaries are definitely probably over half for a lot of orgs, but honestly, it costs around 1 to 3 million to run a Dota team, depending on how premier you are. The average Dota team is like 1 to 2. If you're paying people $20K a month salary, right, $250,000 a year, multiply it by 5 or 6. Yeah, that's a premier Dota team. It's costing you 1.5 to 2 million in salary. It can easily cost you another mil in logistics. $500,000 in logistics. That's pushing you up to 2.5 or 3 before you factor in any of the, we need staff to do media and promotion and sales and a manager and maybe a coach or a second coach, or if you're Liquid, 5 coaches. You got the coach team brought up by, like
you're talking
Coach
about
Harkonnen.
the staff costs and an OG going up to like over $1 million in staff costs from one year to the other. Who knows what Liquid staff costs are?
Yeah. So honestly, when you think about it like this, those costs were not as bad as I thought in some ways. Like they're losing a lot, but you can always lose a lot more. And the goal is you win, and that somehow makes up for it. But honestly, it doesn't, because you don't really get a cut as an org, and well, there's not a lot of
they get a cut
sponsors.
now with the whole EFP. The tournament's dividing up. There's a player pool, and then there's a team pool or whatever.
And honestly, I think it's good for the Dota ecosystem. Players think it's the worst thing that has happened since, Jesus rose from the cross or something. I don't fucking know what the
worst thing since Jesus came back.
We'll edit that one out. What is the expression? It's like the worst thing since what is the there's some expression.
He got crucified?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not fucking religious, man. That's not the point. The point is like they hate this shit, and they're gonna try and stop it at all fucking costs, which is just backwards, because it ends up hurting them in the long run anyway. But like, you can't explain that to anybody, because
it doesn't hurt them in the long run, because they're in it to get as much money.
Exactly.
Now,
they're going to be gone in 3 years.
They'll be gone in 2 years.
Yeah, but it hurts the guy after them. Like, if you want
Sure.
Dotas to succeed 10 or 15 years, it hurts that guy. But that's the story of humanity. It's like, fuck the kids. No one cares about the kids anymore.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, genuinely, look at the fucking climate crisis. Nobody cares about the next gen. It's like, get me mine now. I'm going to be dead. That's your problem. That's kind of how Dota works. Like, I don't blame. It's human nature. Like, you can blame it, but if you're a player, this whole thing could be gone in 2 years. Of course, you're going to try and get every cent you can. And you're going to fight for that. But I don't know, man. Everybody's burning money. Everybody's losing money. It doesn't surprise me. It's not like I don't look at that and go, oh, OG are running things so much worse than every other Dota org. I think if you looked at the breakdown for every Dota org, it's going to look pretty similar, to be honest, within a margin of 20 or 30%. And there's probably some of the top orgs are making bank back because they folded in, like Liquid is big enough, or you have some like really good gambling sponsor, but otherwise nobody has some fucking like Intel sponsor or Lenovo or some Red Bull or like a generic Monster to compete with the Red Bull that maybe OG has. It's like what it was paying 6 or 7 years ago. 6 or 7 years ago, that money did exist, and you did have some orgs that were like in a good position. Like, I know
6 or 7 years ago, Monster was like, they were backing like half the teams in Dota.
Yeah, and they were putting up.
I don't see
money.
Too many of the Monster logos anymore.
Part of the reason why EG got sold for such a insane evaluation to the VC guys was because that company actually made a decent amount of money. They had a really good sponsor revenue, and of course, player salaries at that time were way lower, right? So, like, in theory, player salaries should scale up with the ecosystem scaling up. Instead, player salary scaled up while everything else depressed. So you're getting crunched. It's not good. That's why I don't understand. I don't understand that. Like, I genuinely do not understand how these Dota orgs are paying these salaries out. Like, I don't fucking get it. Someone like holding them hostage or something. It doesn't make any fucking sense. If I want to own teams in esports, I'm going to mobile, man. And then if I'm going into Dota for the prestige, I'm like, I'll give you 10K a month, take it or leave it. And if no one wants to fucking take that shit, I'm out of there. Like, I ain't burning 25 or 30K a month to spend
I
5
have
mil a
heard
year.
of orgs. I have heard of one org in particular that it's like, oh, they might get into Dota. Oh, they might get into Dota. Like every year I hear they might get into Dota. And I'm fairly certain they're doing what you're talking about, which was take it or leave it. No one takes it. And so they're just like, okay.
And that is what more people should do. And if more of the orgs did that and offered what is more in line with fair value for the relative marketplace, players will not be getting paid as much as they are. I guarantee you that.
Okay, but this same stuff is still happening in other esports.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, it's entertainment. Everybody's going to overinflate their salaries. I mean, that's just the reality. But at least Faker gives T1 a lot of value back. Sure. From the branding and the merchandise. I mean, that thing's like a fucking K-pop band, like these guys are selling all kinds of shit. So
is there any Dota player that gives even a 10% of that value?
No, it's not even fucking close, dude. It's not even close.
Do you think any Dota player comes close to bringing the same value that, say, the bigger Counter-Strike players do? Like Simple.
Brand recognition and reach, yes, but they did not translate it because Dota players don't want to do as much content, merchandising, outreach, like consistent streaming. Like I think at the peak, Dota players were completely even with other stuff. Like you look at Arteezy or even Eternal Envy, Puppy, S4 and his prime. Like these guys had huge fucking brands, millions of followers, all this shit. You could easily have translated that to a lot, and they did. Like I think Arteezy absolutely made bank off his
Arteezy did. Many of the other players did not.
Right. So the potential was there and you could have done it. It's just maybe it was like too early in that cycle for them to hit it at the exact right point. And I think Dota players in general just don't care as much.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of them didn't try.
Because TI was so big. It's like, why do I have to go build my brand? I'll just win TI, brother. I'll just get third at TI and then I'm set for life. So like, fuck all this brand nonsense. Whereas if your prize pools aren't as big, your salaries aren't as big, you're way more incentivized to build your brand, right?
And on that note, little a ripple effect of that is Slacks recently is posting some of the EWC skits, and in them he's posting his behind the scenes stories of writing and filming all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think Slacks is if I had to be 100, I haven't talked to him about it, but I'm pretty sure Slacks is just trying to get some more information out there into the scene. And I feel like one little thread line that I read from it, I get mad on his behalf quite a bit about this, is that a lot of players just don't want to do the goddamn content. Most of them do not want to do the content. And you have to twist their arm in order to do the content. Very few of them actually, put any effort into it. That happened for EWC, at least the skit that I was involved in. I saw it. Half the players that came in,
that's
did not want to be
10
there
years.
And pretty much,
yeah, of course.
One person flat out refused. It was just like, all right, well, what are you going to be known for? There's like some of these players have been in the scene for like 10 years and you don't really know anything about them. He brought up Fada as a good, funny example. He's like, what do you know about Fada? And I immediately was like, well, there's the copy pasta, Fada arrow number 5. But like, it's literally something that he did in game. That's it. And that guy was around and successful for a very long time. We do hardly nothing about him. I know that he plays guitar because he occasionally posts that. That is, in fact, more than I think he's just posting a video, him playing guitar is more than 90% of the Dota players have done. So I don't know. It's discouraging to say the least. that mentality just keeps on keeping on, you know?
I don't blame the players, though.
Okay, who do you blame for that?
I mean, some people have shitty attitudes. That's life. That's always going to be the case. But
Yeah.
I don't think there's any incentive for them to do it. Like, we can
Well,
sit here and say there's all these things you can build your brand and do, but then what happens? There is no reward in the Dota ecosystem. Maybe there was. I think if you go
there
back
was,
6 or
yeah.
7 years ago, there was. Those guys were lazy, myself included. Like, because TI loomed. That
Right,
honestly
sure.
fucked
You
all
only
people.
cared about TI,
Yeah.
so
like that, there was a reason there. But nowadays, let's say you do all this content, you spend all this time doing videos and branding and all this, like, you're not going to get anything back as an individual player. It isn't like you do some like NBA commercial and you make like $1 million for doing like some content deal or something. Like, all these guys that are doing media for all these other traditional entertainment industries are immediately getting rewarded for doing it. So there's some incentive for them to be there and spend their day doing it, whatever. In Dota, it's all pro dono. Like, pro bono, just fucking, I'll show up, I'll do your content. Cause I honestly think we get more out of them than, in
I
some
think
ways,
Slacks
like,
gets more out of them.
yeah, because he has a relationship with them, and people,
yeah, he works really hard and he's really smart about it.
right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of players that genuinely do put effort into helping him on his videos because they like him and they like the outcome and they feel very genuine. But like, what did Quinn get out of doing the whole gaming bit?
Well,
This guy doesn't get paid.
Depends on what he wants to do after he's done being a player.
Of course,
right? If he
like,
wants
of course
to
you
be a
can
streamer,
translate
if he
this,
wants to be a
but
talent.
my point is, there's a world where it's like you look at it and it's like, is fucking Michael Jordan going to come in and help you do a video and then just leave for free and like give you his brand and his likeness? It's like, these guys do give you their brand and likeness for free. It's worth
You
something.
don't how do you think that there is any salary bump at all when it comes to negotiating your worth, negotiating your salary for the next year? Do you feel like any of these players get paid more for
yes, 1,000%
their positive brand that they have?
1,000%. I'm just saying it's not as direct. So like, for the player, they don't instantly see it, but of course in the long run, yes. I mean, I know of players who have gotten significant amounts of money more because they had a way larger brand presence and that was valuable to the organization. So maybe if you told more people that, or they were more aware of it, it might help. But it's just like, it's hard because as a player, you just don't, like, you don't see it. It's a long build up thing. And you're like, what is it going to do for me now? Maybe I'm not even on a good team in a year. Maybe I win TI. Maybe I don't. Like, who the fuck knows, right? It gets outweighed by a lot of other stuff.
I guess for me, it just comes back to, what the fuck else are you going to do when you're done being a player? Most of these people don't have skills outside of
retire, dude.
Dota.
They're gonna fucking retire. They're just gonna stream, play, sit at home, go back to school, whatever. They'll have enough money. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, I have a feeling that many of them would not go back to school, and if they tried, they wouldn't complete school because it doesn't offer the same kind of incentives that Dota does.
Yeah, but that's life, man. I mean, people find their way. I don't know. Who are we to criticize?
Well, I'm here to criticize it because it affects me and it affects my community, which is Dota, and I would like it to be as healthy as possible. The fucking tournaments aren't doing it. The players aren't doing it. Then who the fuck is doing it?
Well, we're doing some content here, so
make sure we're getting paid for it.
Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button underneath, and support your local Dota community casters here. Just fucking trying to save the game. No problem.
Shit. All right, Avery. You want to keep going, or you want to close it out here?
I mean, you got anything else or what? You got something else or what, man?
I mean, I got something you could steal from my other podcast.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So I was thinking about it. I mean, you and I both know going into that finals, we knew Spirit was going to win, right? I did the trophy call. I said the best to ever do it, right? I feel like I'm getting really, really close to the greatest of all time, but I didn't call them greatest of all time. Best to ever do it.
I did. I'll say it again. They are the great. How are they not the go-to team? Like, what the fuck even is this? Whatever. Continue.
There is still an argument for OG, but I do think
there's not, dude. There's just fucking not at this point. But continue your point.
See, the problem is that you side so heavily with Spirit, and I think I side with Spirit as well, them being the goated team. But there is still an argument for OG, and I pulled up some numbers. I'm sure you didn't see this, but the accomplishments between the two. So if you were to look at OG from 2015 to 2021, obviously the roster changed quite a bit. 2015 Frankfurt Major, only no tail of the classic OG roster. He was the only one to win the Frankfurt Major. Seb joined them later on in that season as a coach, and then the next year you would get Anna and Jerix, and then that OG would start forming. But they would win at least one major with no tail and Seb as coach, and then they would go on to win 2 more majors. If you were to include the one with no tail, 4 Valve majors. 2 TI wins back to back. All around numbers, tier 1 events, OG has won 7 of them. Spirit has won 8. OG placed second 6 times in tier 1 events, Spirit 4. And both teams placed top 4 a total of 22 times in tier 1 events. Those numbers are mighty close.
They are. They are. They are very close.
So I feel like there's an argument for OG, but you say there's not even an argument.
I don't think there is.
Why?
I think there was before this EWC win. Now I don't think there is.
Oh, well, I viewed it as this EWC win ties them up with the 4 major wins. Right? They're both 2-time TI winners.
Or 2 majors. That's what
I think so, yeah. You don't think that those majors, okay, you don't think this EWC is worth, I feel like a major might be worth more than this EWC.
I mean, the thing, so I'm not thinking of how to rebut you. It's just like these weightings they're impossible to classify anymore.
Yes, that's so why the debate is fun to have.
It's like, okay, what if we took Spirit and we put them in OG shoes back then? Maybe they would have won 6 fucking majors. Like, like maybe it's way fucking harder to win the equivalent of a major now than it was back then if you were the goated team. Like, so these things are all relative, It's
of
like
course they're all relative.
Maybe they played against
stop people from
like
arguing
OG
Jordan versus
of course, but OG was playing against fucking milkmen and fucking accountants out there, dog. Like it's just not, they're playing against me, bro. They eliminated me in tournaments. Like the competition was not the same. So okay, whatever.
Avery is the accountant.
I was the milkman, bro. I was the milk. I was there. Okay. Here's how I view it. Okay, I think Spirit are the greatest team of all time. I think if you look at two EWCs, 2 TIs, a host of other tier 1 wins, you look at the consistency and you look at the dominance in some of those. Okay, this is now look, I respect OG's runs a lot, and I will get to why. I view them differently. And they're in their own category. But
because from let me just say for the start, both their TI wins, there was a fairy tale run and an extremely dominant run.
Yes. I will say that the first run, fairy tale, miracle run, they could have gotten eliminated in a lot of those series.
Okay.
Like some of those are fucking coin flips, man. And you're going to say, well, that's skill, that you win the coin flips. But like, there are a lot of realities where that goes a different way. It was not a dominant. It was a dominant strategic run and a dominant mental run. But they were not the best team there game-wise. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, right? Like, skill-wise,
yes,
that LGD was probably the best team there. And I think even they've talked about that a bit. But they were way smarter. They were way farther ahead strategically. They were way better mentally. They were the better team. It wasn't close in that regard. But they were still, like, working on their gameplay. The run 2, they were the best team there. It was a dominant run. Spirit just dominate, bro. Like, these guys just dominate. You look at the 4 rings they got, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They just go in there and they just booty slap whoever they're going against. And they just send them back to they don't even make it look close. And the runs are like...
I-10 was close.
Okay, that was their miracle run. So you could say that's the same as OG. But outside of that, it's not even fucking close. And
Okay.
It's very consistent in terms of dominance. I think they've had the most runs to win a premier tournament with like one or fewer games dropped.
Okay. Yeah.
That is impressive. The other impressive part is this is the second run that they've made with a player who played a different hero every single fucking game and won.
Yeah.
They
And
did it on their carry.
which is why the player GOAT argument, I feel like, is a lot
I'm
more
just
one-sided.
making my arguments.
A
I'm just
lot of
making
people
my
will
arguments.
be like, of
Okay.
course, Collapse, or of course, Yutoro is the GOAT.
But they have two. They have two, dude. They have two generational players who people would probably consider
Okay,
in the
well,
top
OG
5
had
of all
two
time.
generational players.
Did they? Who?
No, I'm saying if they had, like, they managed to do that without having the GOAT player.
And I commend that. But
And
we're talking about who is the greatest team of all time. And if you have two of the greatest fucking players of all time, it's going to elevate you. That's my only point. It's not like a deciding that's the end all be all, but it's an elevating factor. Like you have two GOAT players who have both made a run at a TI or EWC equivalent event, playing a different hero every single way. That is insane to me. That is an incredible stat. I also think they are the clutchest team of all time. I think if you look at the play style, how they win games, they can win from ahead, they can win from behind, they can match tempo, they can drive tempo, they can play slow, and they can always come back. And I think that is also something OG had, but I think they are even more dominant in that area. And I think no team really comes close to them in terms of consistency in that specific area. And I think that is an incredible skill to have in Dota because, I mean, to me, that's like kind of the heart of the game. Like, there's a couple things that are the heart of the game. It's like when we talk about playing beautiful Dota, one of the issues is can you connect fast and connect ideas quickly and outplay people? And I think that's an aspect of beautiful Dota. I think sheer dominance is an aspect of beautiful Dota. Like, can you just run a team over because your ideas are so much better? The mind game aspects is another aspect of beautiful. There's a lot of aspects that go into this, but I think one of them is the clutch factor. Like, can you just make plays happen out of thin air? OG also had this. I think Jerax was an incredibly clutch player. I think Ana was an incredibly clutch player. Seb had his clutch moments. Like,
I will give you that
they were
team
clutch
spirit,
as well, but not as consistently.
I will give you that team spirit was more dominant. But to call them more clutch, I think, I mean, you want to take the stat of like, they're the team who has won the most tournaments with one or few losses, right? I'm fairly certain OG is the team who has won the most game 5s in finals.
Yes, this is true. But
doesn't that make them incredibly clutch?
They are
arguably more
these
clutch?
things are very close. These things are very close. Maybe I'm a little biased. I just think Spirit are more consistent. Like, I just think let's say you have to pick a team to win a game against the old argument of like a game against the Intergalactic Federation of Dota 2 aliens come down. They have to play against an alien race.
Yeah, they got a space jam
to save Earth. Yeah. Are you picking Spirit? Or are you picking OG? That's kind of what this boils down to.
Okay.
I'm going to take Spirit because I think across a wider spectrum of games and styles and consistencies and variants and whatever, they're more likely to just pull it out.
I think they're more likely to dominate the tournament. But if we're talking about game 5 specifically, then OG has a more proven track record of being able to go to game 5 and clutch it out in the end.
I mean, it's not.
I just think that it's a misnomer to call them the clutchest team of all time when OG has been in more clutch situations and clutched it out. I would agree. Spirit is the more dominant team.
I can buy that argument. I mean, that argument goes either way. Clutch is whatever, but
sure.
Those are my arguments. Now,
okay.
I just think Spirit are the go-to team. I do think OG are I think what separates them from me is they are still the team that has created the most separation in understanding of the game of all time. I do not think Spirit matches them there.
Okay. Insania had a good quote where he said that when it comes to GOAT players, he thinks that No Tail was, if you were to have somebody on your team, you needed to win a game, like No Tail is the person who would give you the highest percentage compared to anybody else in the field. Whereas Collapse, he may be the GOATed player, but does he offer you that much more than 33? Right? It's like the gap between Collapse and 33 is not that large, but the gap between No Tail and these other captains and leaders and stuff, No Tail's track record would show that has the greater gap. Which leads to what you're talking about, which is the idea, the concepts that they had. They were so much farther ahead than other teams.
Yeah, the thing is that stuff's really hard to rate because unless you're in the room,
Yeah, sure.
it's like you don't know who's generating, like, how much of it's No Tail, how much of it's Seb, how much of it is the partnership between the two plus the rest of the team, right? Like chemistry, environment create a lot. But obviously I give No Tail a huge amount of credit because he was on all these winning rosters and he was changing roles and he was generating ideas throughout all of them. So he
Yeah, the
deserves the
fact that
bulk of
like
it.
No Tail is definitely very special because he is one of these only captains, right? Puppy is maybe the other person out there who rivals No Tail's legacy as, old school captaining vibes. But No Tail played carry, played 5 position. He's now doing some coaching. But he did the 2-time TI back to back, right? He's like so
Yeah,
many things, so many accolades to him in that regard.
yeah, I agree. But I think if you're going to say he's above all these other fives that you would take for that team, I think the separation for me is it's the mental game and it's the strategic game. That's what separated them from the other teams at those TIs. Like, I don't think No Tail is that much better of a mechanical player than a lot of other fives.
Yeah, he was
I don't
specifically
think he
talking
would say
about
that either.
knowledge, the
Yeah, of
knowledge gap
course.
between the top teams and everybody else.
But that said, like these things are amalgamations, and that's where like you're at the point where you're getting a discussion where it's like, is he that much farther ahead than Maposhka? Now, I think he is ahead right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody agrees back then, basically, that the top teams were much farther ahead of the other teams based off of
Oh,
knowledge of the game,
but I'm
understanding of the
saying
game, right?
in general, like if you look at the entire career, I think Maposhka is getting close to him. I don't think he's overtaken him yet, but like I think Maposhka is obviously incredibly smart strategically. This guy is drafted through all their runs. He has good
Yeah.
leadership, good comms, shot caller, and I think if you look at the actual gameplay, his gameplay as a 5 is incredibly good. I have talked about this before, but I think he's always been a top 2 or 3 5 player in the world, just mechanically, versatility, laning, team fighting, positioning. Like the guy is fucking good. And to me,
I would s
that's
he
a
has
difference.
to he has to outdo No Tail by a considerable
He
amount
does.
because
He does.
No Tail also has the benefit of succeeding on an entirely different roster,
Of course.
right?
Of course. But this
So,
Maposhka guy has also slotted in 2 players now that he has then won big events with.
yeah.
This is not a team that is like not had to replace people, right? Like they have replaced people and done it successfully. So that does say something about them being able to fit people in. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think No Tail is clear. He's still the number one. And I think that's
They
what
also
separates him from me.
played tournaments without Collapse and Yotaro and did very well, but they also didn't win.
No, but I
So,
mean, you're the Bulls without Jordan and Pippen. It's going to be fucking tough. I also think a lot of that team's identity and their ideas are built around those players. Like, it's I think if you look at some of the OG versions, there were players, if you removed them from those squads, they wouldn't have done nearly as well because the ideas and their style that they built was around what the players were good at the time. Uh, like the Boston major that they won with all the illusion spam bullshit and like the alchemist DK shit. And like this is what
yeah.
Anna was playing at the time and what he was good at. If you take him out of that team, you can't just slot somebody in there and they do as well as they do with their strategies. The strategies were built around what people were playing at the time and what they were good at. It's like they're kind of catch 22s, but I don't know.
I'm not sure if I agree with that because I feel like looking back at OG's rosters that have been successful, almost all those players went on to do good things. Literally, I think the only one is Moon Meander. I think he might have or maybe Mid One and Moon Meander would be the two that had the worst resume post OG. But Moon has obviously showed himself to be incredibly
no.
successful as a
I'm saying
coach.
OG wouldn't have been as successful.
Oh, you're saying the players were specifically.
Yeah, like they could have had those same ideas and strategies, but if you took another good carry at the time and put him in instead of Anna, I don't think the
I see.
strategies would have worked. But obviously,
Okay.
the team is very good, and Anna's a generational player. And there were versions that didn't succeed. Like I remember I mean, we part of why I ended up playing with Resolution is because he went to OG and that version didn't work, and then
Yeah.
he got kicked for the team, and then he kind of had nowhere to go, so we were like his best option. It worked out for me, but that's like the only reason we got a player of his caliber. It's because that version of OG didn't work. But a lot of the reasons why the OG versions, like you could argue the Sumail version of OG also didn't work, right? Like team was very good. They had solid results, but they did not. They got like 8th at that TI. They did not get nearly as high as people maybe expected. And I think when people look back on that team, it's like that team is kind of brushed under the rug a little bit because it's like their results weren't blowout bad that it was a failure, but they were not good at all. And I think it gets brushed over because it's like, oh, that's kind of like the end arc of the Seb No Tail
Yeah, I mean,
career
I just
story,
consider
right?
it that like they're in their twilight of their careers, basically. Like
Sure, but
Seb retires one time, No Tail actually successfully retires.
but that does beg the question as to, well, why couldn't they just keep winning?
I
I'm
mean,
not saying it's on them,
can't
but it is an interesting question why couldn't they just keep winning if they were so fucking goated?
maybe they just didn't have the drive in them anymore.
Maybe, yeah, maybe they're burnt
I
out.
mean,
I would argue.
Jordan didn't keep playing forever either.
No, of
And when he
course,
came back,
I'm
it
not
didn't work so
flaming
well
them.
either,
I'm
right?
not flaming them asking this. I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
it's an interesting idea of like why they didn't just win another one because there were some people. There was a lot of talk at that TI. I remember where people were like, "Yo, this OG is pretty good. Like, are they actually gonna just win another one and then just like get another fucking $40 million tournament?" You know,
Mm.
and they just didn't happen. I genuinely think it was. I just think the gap that they had created with their ideas and mentality wasn't as big anymore. Like people catch up to you, they learn from you, they steal stuff, they get used to what you're doing, right? We see it all the fucking time. And I think that disappeared a little. And that meant that they had to be a far better team gameplay wise than everybody else. And it just wasn't the case at that TI. I mean, Spirit had an insane run. There were some really high skilled teams at that event. There was a lot of money on the line. There was no crowd. That probably hurt them as well, right? Because then their mental edge isn't as big. Like your mental edge doesn't count for as much if you're not playing in front of a fucking stadium with 20,000 people. I think that kind of gets ignored too. But like that probably fucking hurt them a lot relative to Spirit,
Yeah.
who are playing at their first big event, making a miracle run, and have no crowd pressure. Like imagine how much of these series change based off this factor, especially for a team like OG. Like they might have gotten fourth, they might have gotten third, they might have won it. Who the fuck knows? But I think that they lost some of their edges, and that's why I don't know, man. I don't see Spirit declining anytime soon. This is why I think they're the go-to team because I think they're gonna win some more big fucking tournaments, and
Yeah.
by the end, they're gonna surpass them. Maybe I think there's a valid argument right now. They're like neck and neck, but I'm gonna say they're the go-to team because I don't think it's gonna stop. Like I think the way they play there is very sustainable. You know,
And I think that the last metric, the only metric that OG fans could really hold on to is that OG did it back to back, which I don't necessarily think is actually more impressive than doing it in two, like, you know, than way Spirit did it, which was 2021, 2023. I feel like it's almost more impressive in some ways if you could do it like 2020 and 2025, right? In very different eras of Dota to be able to like figure out the game to the highest level when the game is completely changed. But OG fans will hold on to they were the back-to-back champs. And it would be pretty fitting if Spirit was able to both get their 3-time and, you know, match OG's back-to-back champs for this TI.
well,
That
they
would
can't be
be
back to
really
back though.
poetic. Huh?
They can't be back to back though.
Yeah. People are going to be like, oh, they still change one person.
I mean, it
But
doesn't matter if they win
come
another
on.
TI. It's not even close. Right?
Yeah,
Like
I know.
3 is just absurd. But
I
yeah, I
think
get what you're saying.
that's why I want to be able to have this conversation now because soon I agree with you. I don't think the conversation will be that much of a debate. Soon, whether Spirit wins this TI or the next one or the next one, it's like these guys are probably going to win another TI. They become 3-time champs. Almost everybody I've talked to, well, if they win another TI, of course they're the GOATs. Well,
I mean,
then,
dude, even if they get like third or something, like, I think it's not gonna be close. Like that, like even if they get top 3 at this TI, that's a win, a third over like 5-year period. That's absurd longevity in a game that has not had longevity. And these guys are still young. They're all like fucking 25 or 24 or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, like they could keep playing for like another 5 years. It's like stupid, It just took. No, yeah, I mean, you could say maybe the OG guys could have had a lot longer runs too, but they'd already been playing for like so long, and the career trajectory was different back then. But oh man, they're just the GOAT team. Like, you just look at them. Like, I think OG had a better peak. Their peak and their prime relative to the field was way higher. The gap was larger than Spirit's is. But I think Spirit have consistency, they have dominance, they have longevity, they have equal player scouting. I think that's another thing. Like, like what the fuck?
That's true.
Both of those orgs were insane player scouting orgs, and I mean, people are gonna say, "Well, OG scouted Miracle and Topson." It's like, I mean, yeah, what can you do? But like the players that Spirit have brought up, are very fucking good. Laurel,
well, I mean, apparently
good.
they have
two generational. Say they found Satanic, GOATs. Right? Like, yeah. Like these guys can also do their fucking player scouting. They found 2 GOATs. So I don't know. It's like there's so many factors that are very comparable, but we all know the truth. It's time. It's time to hand the crown.
Well, I'm fairly certain there's going to be a number of people in the comments disagreeing with you. Please,
they're all Miracle fans.
Write out your comments and let us know why Avery is wrong. It's funny. I checked YouTube real quick. I was like, maybe there will be some interesting comments on the other video to add to this GOAT conversation. Nothing there, but I did read this one. SVG and Cap are the most biased, all caps, commentators. Suns fan and Synderen will always be the GOATs. These 2 vanilla idiots somehow has more casting.
That's true.
I'm going to be sure to thank that guy for supporting the podcast.
That's why we have more, because we're vanilla. Everybody likes vanilla.
That's true. Vanilla goes with everything, baby. We can do any kind of tournament. We could do your Dream League. We could do your ESL 1. We could do your TI finals.
It's wild, man. I never thought I'd have a job where like people complain about what I do against each other. No. Like usually you do a job and it's like, I pick red, it's wrong. Oh, why doesn't this guy pick blue? He's such a moron. But like in Dota, you can literally have someone complain you're too boring, and someone complain that you meme too much, and someone complain that like you don't know enough about the game, or you know too much about the game.
You're biased.
Yeah, you're biased. Like, you're biased against the team that you're also biased for. Like, it's just people arguing against each other because everybody hears something different. It's so stupid. Like, it's genuinely so stupid. I don't care anymore, but like, I'll never understand that. I never understand how people can just hear what they want to hear and then they just aren't aware of it. I don't know.
Well, hopefully you at home heard what you wanted to hear in this podcast and you enjoyed it.
OG suck.
Thank you very much for watching.
Fake winners.
Another episode of Not for Broadcast. Again, leave all your angry comments for SVG.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a nice play-by-play who has no biases whatsoever. Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.